Hey guys, this time on Movie Reviews, we're going to be looking at the brand new film, The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse was directed by Robert Eggers and stars Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, and follows the story of two lighthouse caretakers who are stranded on a rock, and soon they devolve into madness as they begin to fight and bicker amongst each other and learn each other's secrets. Guys, this is a film that I was really looking forward to. It's one of my most anticipated films for the rest of this year, and it comes from the director of one of my favorite movies of 2016. In fact, it was my favorite movie of 2016 that year, The Witch. I thought that film was just so clever and interesting, and it was just a great traditional horror film that was unconventional in a lot of ways. And I loved the way it dealt with setting. I loved the language of the film, and I thought the horror elements were just so well done. And I just loved the direction that Robert Eggers brought to that film, and I couldn't wait to see what his sophomore film would be. And guys, I was not disappointed. This film is absolutely fantastic. And to me, where The Witch really shined was in its screenplay and in its folklore, which was dealing with, witches and all that good stuff, all that goodness from 1600s America. But here, it's a very different story and very interesting. I was really interested in what was going to happen in this movie. Like, the trailers really just show you a story of two guys that are going mad on a rock, and really, that's what you get. This is a movie that is very character based and is just built for powerful performances, and that is the standout of this movie. Over story, over anything in the script, it is about the characters and about the actors, and Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe give powerhouse performances in this film. They are absolutely fantastic, both together and alone. They make this movie just work so well, and it makes me wonder what this film would have been like if they weren't in this film. They are so good together, and watching them just play off each other and laugh and then also just turn on each other like they do in this film is so good. And everybody's going to talk about Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe in this movie. They are absolutely fantastic. In fact, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about that, like, this is a performance from Willem Dafoe that should be nominated, and I completely agree. He gets lost inside this role. He just does a great job of playing this wickie that has completely lost his mind, and watching him play off of Robert Pattinson is so entertaining. And that was something that I really wasn't expecting, was just how entertaining this film was. This movie is a horror film, and horror films can be really entertaining. I just reviewed The Conjuring a day ago, and that movie is extremely entertaining. But this film is very different. It's slow, it's got a deliberate pace to it, very much like what The Witch was. And here, I think the pacing works even better with this film than it did in The Witch, because I can understand people's complaints when it comes to The Witch that it is a tad slow, but I thought where that worked perfectly in this film. The pacing in this film is slow, but it just moves by so fast. This movie is just about 2 hours, and it does everything it can in that time frame, and is so good. The conversations, as I said, with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson are extremely entertaining and informative, and just as the film goes along, their conversations get more and more insane and outlandish, and it's really, really entertaining and fun. And also, I wasn't expecting this movie to be as funny as it was. There's a bit of comedy in this film, which I found really interesting, and it was even better that it actually worked. It wasn't like I was laughing at something that was unintentionally funny. No, there is comedy written into this script, especially with some of the dialogue that they say. Some things that Robert Pattinson says later on in the film regarding a steak is pretty entertaining. And also, there's a lot of farting in this movie. Like, like a lot of farting. And usually, fart jokes, are just the worst of comedy, but somehow it really works in this film, and honestly plays into one of the reasons why Robert Pattinson is annoyed by Willem Dafoe's character in this film. And you would think that the comedy bits of this film would ruin the horrific moments in this film, but it really doesn't. It really keeps in tone with itself and remains still very chilling and dark and disturbing, while also having some lighter moments as well, which I think this film really did need, because you don't want to be filled with dread throughout an entire runtime for this movie, and I think that was a very clever decision on the writer's part, both Robert Eggers and his brother who wrote the script for this film. But the horror moments in this film is what makes this movie a horror film, of course, and it's a very different type of horror. Like, some people will be very put off, probably, by, like, what this film is doing, and without going into too much spoiler territory, I will say that the film has a lot in common with H.P. Lovecraft's writing and the Cthulhu myths, while also dealing with old sea tales and stuff to do with Greek mythology as well. It's just a really weird blend of stuff that honestly works perfectly for the film. There's some great imagery in this film that is beautifully done. This movie is beautiful to look at. It's filmed in black and white with a full screen, and honestly, it really works. Now, for some people, this might seem maybe a little pretentious to, have a film in full screen in, 2019? But it really does work with the film as well, while also really playing into this idea that we are trapped on this island in this lighthouse with these people. And so the camera just feels really cramped, and I think that's what Eggers was going for in this film, and honestly, it really does work. You feel claustrophobic in this film. You feel really close to these characters, and it makes for a really entertaining ride. Hey guys, something else I also forgot to mention is that I absolutely love Eggers' command of language in this film and also in The Witch. With The Witch, he really delved into the language of that film, trying to set it in that time period and make them sound like they were in that time period. And I thought that was really clever and interesting. And he does the same thing in this film too, which I really did like. It really feels authentic, which really helps with the production of the film overall and really brings you into this world. But I did want to mention that. In terms of negatives of this film, I really don't have much, but I will say that this movie is, of course, not going to be for everybody. It's an A24 film. Their films are very divisive. Some people just don't really like art house films, and that's completely fine. I completely understand that, but I really just love that this film exists and it does what it does. I love the characters. I love the actors even more. I love just what this film did with its horror moments as well as its comedy, and also seagulls. Guys, seagulls are the real MVP of this movie. If you watch the movie, you'll understand, but I'm never going to look at a seagull the same way again. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for you. So with all that said, I'm going to give The Lighthouse an 8 out of 10. Guys, this is a really stellar film. I really enjoyed it, and I think that people should go out and see this to just see something different. That's, not just another superhero movie or another action film. That is just a little different. You might surprise yourself with this one. I don't know. Now, some people might be wondering, do I like this movie more than The Witch? I think this movie is more refined than The Witch is. I think the script is even more incredible, and I love the characters and the actors in it that really helps elevate the film. But I think overall, I like The Witch a little bit more. I just love the horror elements of that film and how it deals with witches. Witches is just something that I've always been interested in, and I thought it was just, it's more up my alley. But this is still a fantastic second film from Robert Eggers, and I can't wait to see what he does next. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. So as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review.